For decades, scientists believed red hair was explained by a single gene, MC1R. The 2018 UK Biobank study shattered that certainty. 343,000 DNA samples revealed 93% of redheads share MC1R variants, yet more than 80% of people with the same genetics don't have red hair at all. The real answer? It involves 9 genes, not just one. Our basic understanding of inheritance and identity just changed. So what actually makes someone a redhead? Red hair stands alone as the rarest natural hair color on the planet. Globally, only about 2 to 6% of people have it. Yet in the north, the numbers shift dramatically. In Scotland, red hair is almost a national signature. About 13% of Scots are redheads, and up to 40% carry at least one copy of the gene linked to red hair. Edinburgh, in fact, is often called the red hair capital of the world. Back in 1995, a team led by Julie Valverde at the University of Edinburgh made a discovery that seemed to explain this mystery. They traced red hair to a single gene, MC1R, found on chromosome 16. The logic was elegant. MC1R acts as a switch in the body's pigment system. If the gene works as expected, the body produces eumelanin, the dark pigment that gives hair a brown or black color. But when MC1R carries certain changes, what scientists call loss of function variants, that switch is flipped. The body starts making pheomelanin, a red-yellow pigment instead. The result? Red hair. For years, this model shaped how people understood red hair inheritance. The story was simple. 2 parents, each carrying a copy of the MC1R variant, had a 1 in 4 chance of having a red-haired child. 2 copies, red hair, 1 copy, carrier, no copies, dark hair. The science seemed airtight, and it fit the family trees seen in Scotland and Ireland, where red hair often runs deep. But there was a paradox that quietly troubled geneticists. If the MC1R explanation was complete, then every person with 2 copies of the variant should have red hair. Yet families saw a different pattern. Some siblings, with the same genetic makeup, had red hair while others were blonde or light brown. In Scotland, with 40% of people carrying the gene, red hair should be everywhere. Instead, it remains rare even among carriers. This contradiction pointed to a gap in the story. The old model didn't account for the missing heritability, the difference between what the gene predicted and what actually appeared. The numbers didn't add up. Something else was at work, quietly shaping who would become a redhead and who would not. The search for that missing piece would lead researchers far beyond a single gene and into a far more complex genetic landscape. In 2018, a team at the University of Edinburgh set out to answer a question that had stumped geneticists for decades. They turned to the UK Biobank, a vast genetic resource holding DNA from more than 343,000 people of European ancestry. Using a genome-wide association study, they combed through millions of genetic markers, searching for the missing pieces in the red hair puzzle. The results were immediate and startling. MC1R, once thought to be the sole driver of red hair, explained only 73% of the heritability. That left a full 27% unaccounted for, a gap too large to ignore. The data revealed that red hair could not be traced to a single gene acting in isolation. Instead, it was the product of a complex interplay between multiple genes. 8 additional genetic variants stood out in the analysis. Some, like a variant in the ASIP gene, played a key role in regulating when MC1R is switched on or off. Others were linked to hair growth and texture, influencing how pigment is deposited in each strand. These findings made one thing clear: the classic model, where 2 copies of MC1R guaranteed red hair, was incomplete. In reality, 93% of redheads did have two MC1R variants, but most people with that same genetic signature did not have red hair at all. Only about 15% did. The rest had blonde or light brown hair, despite carrying what should have been the defining redhead genotype. Sarah Miller, a lead analyst on the project, described it as a genetic orchestra. MC1R might be the conductor, but the rest of the section, the 8 newly identified variants, determined whether the music played at all. The technical term is epistasis, genes interacting, one modifying the effect of another. In practice, this means that red hair emerges only when the right combination of MC1R variants and genetic modifiers are present together. It is not a simple on-off switch, but a network of dials, each controlling a small part of the outcome. This discovery changed how scientists think about hereditary traits. Red hair is not a single gene story. It is a case study in how human genetics really works. A web of interactions, subtle and overlapping, that can defy even the most elegant models. The implications reach far beyond hair color, opening new questions about evolution, ancestry, and health. In 2007, a team led by Nina Fischers at the Max Planck Institute turned to ancient DNA for answers. Deep in the caves of El Cidrón in Spain and from a site in Italy, they extracted genetic material from Neanderthal remains, bones tens of thousands of years old. Among the fragments, they found something unexpected, a variant in the MC1R gene. This mutation disrupted the gene's function, much like the changes seen in red-haired people today. For a moment, it looked as if Neanderthals might have shared this rare trait with modern humans. The scientific world took notice. Museums updated their models, adding red hair to Neanderthal reconstructions. Headlines suggested a link between ancient and modern redheads. But when Fischer's team compared the Neanderthal variant to the MC1R changes found in humans, the surprise deepened. The Neanderthal mutation was entirely unique, unlike any found in the DNA of nearly 4,000 modern people tested. Not a single living person carried the Neanderthal version. This finding rewrote the evolutionary story. Red hair had not passed from Neanderthals to modern humans. Instead, it appeared twice, independently, in 2 different branches of the human family. Both Neanderthals and Homo sapiens developed red hair through their own distinct genetic changes. Scientists call this convergent evolution, 2 species separated by time and geography, arriving at the same visible trait through completely different mutations. The result is a reminder that even the rarest features can emerge more than once, following their own unpredictable paths through deep time. Red hair carries a biological signature that goes far beyond color. For men of Northern European ancestry, the same genetic code that produces red pigment also shapes how the body responds to pain, disease, and even sunlight. Clinical studies led by researchers like Mark L. Taylor have shown that people with 2 MC1R variants, whether or not they have red hair, often need up to 20% more anesthesia during surgery. The MC1R receptor is not just a pigment switch. It's wired into the nervous system, influencing how pain is processed from the skin all the way to the brain. Anesthesiologists now watch for this, adjusting dosages for red-haired patients who might otherwise wake too soon. But there's a trade-off. The same MC1R changes that soften pain thresholds also weaken the skin's natural defenses. Carriers face a much higher risk of melanoma, the deadliest form of skin cancer. Even 1 copy of the MC1R variant can raise lifetime melanoma risk regardless of visible hair color. The mechanism is simple. The gene impairs DNA repair in skin cells, leaving them vulnerable to damage from ultraviolet light. For men in northern latitudes, where pale skin is common, this risk is amplified by years of cumulative sun exposure. Yet, there's an evolutionary twist. Current evidence suggests the red hair mutation first appeared in Central Asia, spreading west as people migrated into Europe. In cloudy climates with limited sunlight, the red hair gene offered a hidden advantage. Pale skin and pheomelanin allowed for more efficient vitamin D production, a critical edge when sunlight was scarce. Some researchers believe MC1R is a genetic hotspot, mutating faster than other regions. That may explain why red hair, despite its risks, persists most strongly in places where the weather is gray and the days are short. The story of red hair is not just about inheritance. It's about adaptation, survival, and the hidden costs and benefits written into our DNA. For those with Northern European roots, these genes have shaped both appearance and health for generations. Red hair shows us that identity is more complex than any single gene. As genetic science uncovers new connections, from disease risk to pain to ancestry, the story deepens for millions today. What we inherit isn't fixed. It's still being rewritten, strand by strand. Share your thoughts below.